Hello.
Is this on? Hello.
Yep, it's
Bugs
on.
Bunny to Mars. Bug Bunny Mars. Are you there, Mars?
And depending on the lag with my computer, we are there. To shut off my volume on the YouTube side. So how are you doing, Mr. Don?
Okay, I'm busy.
Yeah.
Very, very busy. I mean, you and I chat,
Yeah.
Well, we haven't chatted much this week.
No, you've been busy.
I've been busy. I know you've been busy.
Yeah, not so much the last couple of days. It's been, cold for here. Getting down in the 40s at night.
We're going into our next freeze warning tonight. We've had 4 in the last week, so hopefully this is it. No more freezing.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 80s and then I think 90s the week after. That's what they're forecasting. But anyway, nobody wants to hear about our weather. You want to say hello to at least 2 of the people that are showing up?
Yep. Bob, good evening. Hope you're thanks for joining us. And we got what? Wally's Trains and Coin Collecting. Good evening. Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
The little indicator up here says otherwise, but whatever.
Yeah.
Stream it and they shall come eventually.
Yeah. Well,
plus I think some of the other bigwigs are still on, so well, there's no big
sales should be on, but I don't know that for a fact, or I don't know. No, it's 8:30. Normally everybody's off by Ida's still going.
Oh, she is?
Yep, that's where everybody's at.
Yep, that's where everybody's at.
Yeah, she's got 157 people watching.
And we go over to here. And there are the results so far. Goal 15 and amount raised thus far 22,250. How about that?
Very cool. I popped in there for a little bit, watched a little bit, made a donation.
Yes, you did. So I'm not going to show everybody.
No, yeah, I just made a donation. So St. Jude's is a good cause. In my opinion,
it is. I agree with you, and I will make a donation myself on payday, so that way I can make a reasonable donation.
Yeah, I don't get paid till Wednesday, so
yeah, neither same as me. So yeah, I already overspent the fund money that I didn't have.
Yeah. You and me both, and I'm sitting in it.
Well, that's apples, oranges, man. Totally different thing.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, I think as long as Ida's going, I don't think we're going to have very many people. But if we do get a few people in here, you've got some great topics to discuss.
Yeah. I took your advice, and when I send the invite out, start putting talk about first, and then open it up to everybody. So make the good habit from today forward. But yeah, those are definitely good topics I want to get into and get your opinion and maybe spark some interest if people decide they want to show up.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah. Seems like Bob is still here. He's taggable. And Wally's still taggable. So but they're not showing up in our little indicator for
Yeah.
StreamYard. Interesting.
Well, it is what it is. If I figured I'd be done by now, honestly.
I did too. Hey, look who's here.
Oh, did I miss somebody?
Your buddy.
Oh, PB. What's up? Still on the road? Cool, brother. Be good. Be good.
Yeah,
Be safe. And everybody. And we got Bob back and Heather's chubby hubby. What is up? Woo, 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 woo. Thanks for stopping in. It's probably going to be a very light crowd tonight because Miss Ida's still going strong, and we want to support her, obviously.
right.
I just wasn't planning her. I assumed she was going to be finished long by now, because they were on for like 10 hours. Yes, last night or yesterday, 10 hours. Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I
Man.
said, they're still going strong. So yeah.
Yeah.
And Yoke fan, hello.
Yo, fan. Good evening. Thanks for popping in real quick.
Oh, they went to midnight last night.
Sweet.
Wow.
Polly Beck got me on the truck surround sound.
I wonder why
They went till midnight. Are you kidding? Midnight? Oh my gosh. Woo. That's crazy. That is nuts. Wow. No. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's great. You know, what they're doing and how they're doing it is super smart. You know,
I agree.
because the money is going directly to St. Jude, and then they are taking, the auction wins and all that, and then they send it to the person. So they stay out of the loop when it comes to the actual money. It goes directly to St. Jude, and then you, as making a donation to St. Jude, you'll get the letter, for IRS tax deduction, all the legal mumbo jumbo stuff. So they're doing it right. So kudos to them setting that up.
Yeah. And then you can email confirmation stating that you made the donation.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's set up. It's perfect in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're
For
going to do
for something that large for that type of organization,
Yeah.
other than you got to keep track of the lots and make sure people put in the lot number that they won in the note section. So I can see where the shipping end of it could get a little dicey.
Yeah.
Just to try to keep it all straight, because there's so many people that when I was in there, like I said, she had 150 some in there, and to keep all that straight for that many hours with all the lots that they're going through. I think, who was it that mentioned Heather's Chevy Hubby? They got 120 lots today to go through.
Yeah.
And I have no idea where they're at.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was
I guess they must have added some, because when I looked at it this morning before setting this up, I was like, oh yeah, they'll be done, before we do the show. But that's why I shifted it a half hour, just in case. But I don't mean to step on their toes and stuff.
no.
But
And
it is what it is.
Oh, yesterday. Okay, 120 lots for yesterday. So I don't know how many lots are for today.
Yeah, let's see. Let's go back to. Let me set this up and go here.
It's easier for you to do that than me. I'm on my little laptop with two screens open, so everything's scrunched as it is.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
Still got that damn echo. Anyway. Yeah. I think they're done though, because this number hasn't moved. But you said you went over there and looked, so
I
people
haven't
may not.
checked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should pull out my tablet.
Let me.
Bob, that's actually a pretty good idea.
No, they're still going. The number refreshed.
Okay.
So yeah, I feel a little. I feel bad being on, but oh, picture winning picture.
There you go.
No,
Polly Buck, yes, I am, sir. And I will be for a few more weeks. And then I head back. Drinking my water, 72
good.
ounces a day.
So have you? So what exciting new thing have you done in their community? You played shuffleboard yet?
No, I don't plan on playing shuffleboard.
How about some golf?
I have not. The weather's not been conducive.
Okay.
There's people out golfing today. I mean, in Michigan, we'd be golfing.
Mm-hmm.
But down here, there was a few people that went through, but it was breezy and a little chilly. You're
Yeah,
headed
for
down this
Florida.
way.
Mm.
Well, that's right when it starts warming up, Polly Buck. You're missing it because I think it's only supposed to be like 60 tomorrow, and then I think 72, and then back in the 80s. So, wow, they still have 47 lots to go.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're going to be on there for
Huh.
till midnight again, at least.
I'm wondering if it's StreamYard, because StreamYard's still showing 0 count, and the chat is like super slow, or super slow. But I got the chat up from YouTube and it's fine. But whatever.
Yeah, yeah, the
Don't
chat on.
don't yeah don't monkey around with it.
Yeah, I wouldn't mess with it.
Yeah, well, no, we'll just keep going here. So just everybody, thanks for stopping in. And if you haven't supported Miss Ida and the St. Jude's, head over there. Or you could do like what Gen X has done and what I'll be doing. You could go to their site uh, directly, and let me switch page real quick. And you can make a direct donation yourself. You don't
Yep.
have to necessarily, if you want to do the auction thing and buy something, that's great. But my understanding is once you, let's say, if you win an auction, then you come to this site and then you put in your information, you select other, you put in, hey, I won this X coin for, Y amount dollars, put that in there, and then you hit the donate button and it'll take you to another screen. You put in your official, your name, address, phone number, and then in there's additional text you put in. So that Ida wants your either your channel name or whoever you are, and then also note, like, if you can see here, you may not be able to see it, but you got like this person who won, and they want you to actually put in the lot number that you won, so it helps them with the logistics and everything. So you don't have to buy anything. And like I said, Mr. X, he went straight through here, made a donation, on behalf of his channel, and I'll do the same on payday.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you to her. Yeah. I am definitely all about St. Jude. I don't have kids, but I have a niece and nephew, and of course the four-legged one with the tail. But
Well,
you know,
he's that's the four-legged one with the tail is the boss of the family. So
no, pretty much, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. He's
Well,
on
you have to,
TDY. He's on
right?
TDY Grandma and Grandpa's.
Yeah.
Well, I
But
had
no.
I had a very busy week, and I was talking with my mom, and we were supposed to go out for Vietnamese food Friday night, and she like strained her back or something. She was just like, wasn't feeling up for it. So I asked her, like, you want me to come get the chief security? And and she texts back, no. I asked Grandpa, and he said, no, we'll keep him. They love that dog.
Yeah.
It's good though. It gives them something to do, and it's still cold up here, so having him around the house, and like, and even though when it warms out, they go play fetch with him, and he gets to patrol their big backyard and look for woodland creatures and anything else that crawls around. So
Yeah.
so he's
Well,
digging it.
I was going to say, I know we don't have a lot of people in here. A lot of people are over at IDAS, as we've been mentioning. But do we want to go ahead and address the topics, or do we want to table the topics for when there are people in here, or do we want to go ahead and discuss it? What does the people on the chat think? Or what do you think? It's your channel.
Well, tell you the truth, if we don't cover it this week, something new is going to happen this week. So it's like,
True. True.
It doesn't. Oh, let's do it because I want to get into this routine.
Okay.
We're gonna have the
Okay.
show. We're gonna do our introductions. Say hello to everyone's in the chat, and then when that's done, then I want to go into the topic items that that I laid out, and fire up the discussion, and then after we hit those, then open it up for people on the panel and folks in the chat. So that's going to be kind of the new format. Well, not new format, but that's the way I want to proceed forward.
Okay.
Actually, your suggestion, and I concur with it, definitely. Yeah. So let's go ahead and begin. And if people jump in, great. If not, we'll finish up what we're talking about, and then we'll just take it from there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Speaking of jumping in, Gypsy Wolves, good to see you.
Oh, is he here?
Dude. Yes, he's a dude, by the way. Of course, it's all dudes in here. So.
Well, I never got actual confirmation that, I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not judging, I mean, you do you. So if he wants to, go one way, go another way, go that way, or go that way, I don't judge. It's cool.
He's a dude that likes sprinkles. That's all there is to it.
Oh, he likes unicorns and sprinkles and
sprinkles on his donuts.
Sprinkles on his okay. Sprinkle. I get that.
So
just don't put sprinkles on your Boston cream donut.
No, that's wrong.
That's bad.
That's wrong.
That is totally wrong. That is shame.
That's a donut ban waiting to happen.
All right, let me switch screens here, and I'd like to start. So this past week or two, everybody's heard of the whole situation with the Silicon Valley Bank.
Yep.
They're closing.
Yeah, before we get much further into that, I just want to state that this is for entertainment purposes only. We're just having an open discussion on our thoughts on the matter. We are not financial experts, nor are we bankers or anything related as such.
Thank you. I'm glad you put that in there. So please do your due diligence and seek out professional, certified, licensed, insured, bonded people who do this for a living. We don't. You all know what I do.
Yeah.
So this is just for bringing up for discussion and everything. And disclaimer completed.
There we go. Okay, so back to your topic.
So,
and by the way, hello HVAC.
Wait! Whoa! HVAC's on here. Okay, you know what that means. Oh. Okay, I better get that royalty check in the mail. HVAC Residential Basics. For all your heating and air conditioning residential needs. Is your AC blowing hot air? Or is that your wife? Either way, you better hurry up and call HVAC Residential Basics at 1-888-HOT-AIR. That's 1-888-HOT-AIR. HVAC Residential Basics. We fix air conditioning, not marital problems.
I don't have my thing, so that's at home.
Yeah, I know. I haven't set mine up either, but now you know some of what's going on with me.
Yep. Back to the topic at hand. Back to the topic.
Okay. Let me switch screen. So we had Silicon Valley Bank out of California file for bankruptcy, and then I kind of stumbled on this website because I was looking for, okay, who, because I heard like there was one over some Swiss bank or something, not Swiss or Swiss bank or something,
Yep.
a bank overseas that also filed for bankruptcy. So I was like, okay, is there a way to find them? And then I was like, oh, FDIC. Oh my gosh, look at that. So we got the
No.
folks at Silicon Valley here listed, and then Signature Bank.
Yep.
And they filed here on March 12th. I did not know that.
Yep.
So this is kind of an interesting site. I mean, if we all use a bank, I use a credit union, but uh, credit unions have something very similar to FDIC. I forget what the acronym is, but it's the same thing. They just changed the name on it.
No, see,
Uh,
my credit union is FDIC.
oh, is it?
Yep.
Yeah, mine falls in the whatever the name is for the one that was initially established for credit unions. So I'm
Okay.
curious. I'd have to see if I can find their site. But okay, my going back to the discussion. So now we got two thus far.
Yep.
Within the beginning of this month, and it's I don't know. I'm not sure how to read that because you can see here, you can go through and see some of the other banks, a few here in 2020, 2019. So banks do fail.
Yes,
I
they do.
guess I guess the meat of it is, we're talking about you know, a reasonable size bank. I mean, it's one that
Yeah.
finances what Silicon Valley stuff, right? Oracle and Cisco and all those boys, right?
Well, yes, that's true. Um, and they didn't get a bailout. What they got was their depositors were covered under FDIC. So the depositors' funds up to the limit of $250,000 was covered. But an interesting note is that the two banks that you have listed don't even classify as I think a class 3 size bank.
Oh, like
Um,
a big Bank of America or something like that.
Correct. And to put
Okay.
it in perspective, I believe that the big one was
Mhm.
$200 billion, something like that. Elon Musk is worth more than that bank, to put it into perspective.
Yeah.
Where like uh, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, they have trillions and trillions of dollars.
Too big to fail.
That's for the most part, yes. I mean, what was it? Chase was going to just buy them, and that's what happened with the bank overseas, the Swiss bank or the swoosh
Mhm.
bank or whatever it was.
Yeah.
They've already been bought out by another bank.
Oh, no kidding. They move quick
Yeah.
on that.
However, I don't want to say it's a red herring because it could pose an issue. I think the bigger issue is, in my opinion, is what the Fed is going to do on Wednesday. And
Mm.
I think that because of what these banks have done and what other banks are signaling, some of the smaller banks,
Mhm.
that because of the continual rise in interest rates, people are not taking out the loans like they used to, which is
Mhm.
affecting obviously
Mhm.
their revenue, the bank's revenue.
Mhm.
And the latest report that I had heard is that originally the Fed was going to raise interest rates by a half a basis point. And
Mhm.
now they're probably going to still raise it, but only at 25% or a quarter of a point instead of a half a point.
Hmm.
But the Fed is in no way going to stop, in my opinion, raising rates because inflation is still, although it's down to 6%, it's not in their target range of 2%. And Powell, the chairman of the Fed, has already said that they're going to continue to increase the rates to slow stuff down because the economy is still growing. They added more jobs than originally anticipated.
Yeah.
Now, some of that, obviously, you'd have to dig into the details, but some of what I've read is, there's people that are taking on extra jobs because of inflation. I mean, you look at the price of eggs and the price of gas is actually coming down because oil's dropping.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
But the price of eggs are still climbing. So I think that the biggest issue is, in my opinion, is what the Fed will do Wednesday, because it's going to affect the banks. It trickles down to the banks.
It does. It does. Something you and I brought up in our personal discussions is like CDs, certificate deposits, and stuff like that. You could get like short-term CDs. You can get like 5% on a like 9-month CD now. Before all this madness, you were lucky to get 1.5%, 2%
for a year.
For a year
or 16 months. Yeah.
Yeah, and now you get a 6-month, 9-month, and get nearly 5%.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh my gosh, they're going to finally pay us interest. Why? Because the bank actually needs, cash or whatever. They need those deposits to stay with them, so they can cover their the outstanding. I don't know what's the word, loans or debts or whatever it is they have. They need that cash on hand to cover their expenses. I don't know what all
well,
the right words are.
think what might shake out with the banks once the dust settles with all this, which listen to some pundits and some people, this is going to go on through the fourth quarter, if not into the first or second quarter of next year. As far as inflation goes, to get it back under control, I think that they need to revisit what banks actually have to maintain as far as their assets are concerned, relative to what the depositors have put in the bank. Because obviously, if everybody went to their bank and started to withdraw money, they would all collapse, right? The whole system would just collapse.
Well, that's what happened with Silicon Valley, right?
Right. And that's because they changed the law or the banking regulations where they only have to keep, I can't remember what it is, 10% or 20% of what's deposited on hand, and the rest they invest. Right.
Yeah, because Silicon, they had to go out and like liquidate everything to cover the depositors.
Well, they were heavy into crypto. Was it crypto or bonds? I think they were heavy into bonds.
I think it was bonds. Yeah.
But they bought bonds when it was at 1%, and when they cashed it in, and the bonds that they cashed in are now like at 2.5 or something like that. They lost all that money, so they took a hit, and they lost money on the deal. So I think that's probably what should happen. Now, whether it will happen, because now you're talking politics and rules and bankers.
And the Fed and all that jazz. There's something that I thought was interesting. I haven't seen a whole lot of auto commercials.
I'm getting a ton of emails from my dealership where they're offering 0% financing and trying to move inventory because they're just not selling.
Yeah.
I mean, an auto loan is, depending on your credit score, you could be paying 8-9%, if not more.
Yeah, and people got to make sure you read that the fine print there. It says 0% finance loan for 60 month whatever for people with exceptional credit, blah 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 blah. So
and you don't miss a payment. If you miss a payment, that negates it all.
Yep.
At least on most of them that I've dug into. But
so you got to read that. Got to read the fine print.
So anyway, that is my take on it. It's just an opinion. There's lots of opinions out there, and I'm not an expert. There is a channel that I do watch, and now I'd have to try to find them.
Well, my
But
opinion is I use a credit union. Ha 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 ha.
I use a credit union as well.
It doesn't
So,
matter. One or the other. I mean, it's just semantics. What affects a bank affects a credit union. All the financial factors. It plays in either one. It's just a matter of, a bank is what, owned by the stockholders versus a credit union is technically owned by the investors who put their money in the credit union or something like that.
correct.
Yeah.
The depositors are owners of the bank. So their first obligation is to satisfy the owners of the bank, which are the depositors or the members of the credit union.
Yeah.
So
it was funny I guess it was last week or whenever the whole Silicon Valley, stuff hit. My credit union sent a email notice to all credit union members, and it was pretty much it was a letter from the CEO of my credit union, and he was just reassuring folks, we are a credit union. We are, our team ensures that, that the credit union's on, stable grounds and we have sound investments. We ensure and remind us that our deposits up to 250,000 is covered by the Federal Credit Union Insurance, something, whatever it's called. The
right,
FDIC version for credit unions.
right.
But it's the same thing, and he's just putting words of encouragement just to tell people, don't panic. I think that's what his bottom line was. Don't panic. Don't make a run for the bank. Don't make a run for the credit unions. The sky is not falling.
Correct. It is not. I don't think it is. But I do think that it is a good reminder that people should have, and you've mentioned this numerous times, and I think we've discussed it. You should have cash on hand for a short-term amount. And that amount would, whatever you would be comfortable with or whatever you can secure of cash that's available to you for, and again, we've discussed this for natural disasters, or let's say something does happen, at least you've got cash so you can go buy groceries or gas for your car or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, because many banks and credit unions, they put a limit on how much you can withdraw from the ATM per day, right?
Yeah, normally you set that up as far as the ATM goes, but if the bank is, if you are with a big bank or a bank, and something happens, that you're not going to be able to get anything out because everything's going to be locked down. So,
right.
And I don't know about you, but I'm not seeing any reaction or chat or anything coming up on chat. So I don't know if we still have people. Are we still live?
Or refresh the YouTube chat.
Yeah, I just did. Okay, Paulie Bucks responded. Yeah, I don't care who likes it or not. You need to have cash. And I agree with that. Yep, they're here still listening. Okay.
Yeah.
All
yeah.
right.
No, Polybuck is absolutely correct. I hate using the word absolute because there's nothing in this world that is absolute.
Silver Frog Man, he's lurking.
Hey, what's up? Good evening. Thanks for being here. Yeah.
I always chuckle because whenever that stuff comes up, it reminds me of an old movie called Doc Hollywood, and it starred boy, I can't remember her name, but she was an attractive actress, and
Not Leah Thompson.
no,
because that's Michael J. Fox.
Michael
right?
J. Fox is Doc Hollywood.
He's Doc Hollywood.
Yeah, and remember his car broke down, and he tried to use a credit card, and the guy says, "I'll take a credit card as long as it's wrapped in cash."
Yeah, that is so true. Yeah.
So
So, part of your preps, for those who prep, you got to have,
Yeah,
you got to have a little bit,
you
in
gotta
the
have
safe
you
or
gotta have
whatever your
some
secure
fiat.
location, because you don't
Yeah.
know. Forbid, heaven forbid something happens. At least you got something ready to go, ready available.
Yeah,
Uh,
and Paulie Buck makes a good point. If you don't have cash, how can you stack?
See, that guy is very smart.
Whether it be cash on hand or
Yeah.
cash in your
And that's why
financial institution.
his channel went from a couple hundred to 3K in what, a year?
Yeah, that's why he's blowing up.
And by the way, folks, everybody, I think for those who know me and Polybuck, he's, along with him, Mr. X, Polybucks is one of my YouTube uh, mentors. So I rely, on his advice and stuff with, whether it be logistics related to YouTube channel stuff or whatever. So, thank you, Paul. Yeah, I'm a fanboy. Brown knows up to him a little bit. Yeah, I'm definitely jealous, but he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. So, make sure you swing by his channel and subscribe to him. And we have someone coming up from the basement.
Ah,
Thank
Who's
you.
there?
Hello.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you your Indiana Hoosier Stacker.
And they play a little bit later.
You
Oh, do
realize
they?
I'm not a basketball fan, right?
I was
you're
going to
not?
say Michigan State won. They advanced to the Sweet 16.
I don't know who that guy is that does the
I don't
that
know.
bit.
Either.
The Indiana
I don't know.
Who, I
He's
saw
probably
it
been doing. He's
somewhere.
probably been doing it since the Bobby Knight days. Only thing I know
Okay.
about the IU is Bobby Knight.
Okay. I think it's hilarious. I saw this guy doing it, whatever, and I was just like, that's my shtick for you.
That's fine. Hey, Heather, Chubby, happy good to see you. How you doing, Gen X and Polly?
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
Hey, Hoosier, you seen these numbers on Miss Ida with the
I haven't
here?
checked. I haven't
Here.
checked lately, but I heard she's up to like 24,
Here it is.
25, something like that.
22,893.
I'm not sure how much further out she is from ending her show, but
yeah.
I did hear that Big T, if she hit 25, that Big T was going to shave his head. I did hear that.
Oh, really?
That's what I heard anyway.
Oh my! Maybe that'll bring up the numbers.
I don't know exactly where she's at with her right now, but
we don't know where she's at with Watts either, and I know that we definitely didn't. At least the Don saying he didn't want to step on her. And that's why he put it for later than normal. But
I actually postponed yesterday's shows to make room for her and the fundraiser. It's all about the kids, right? So that's what matters.
Yeah.
Same thing with going through today and all that. So
yeah. So folks, if you haven't, if your heart speaks to you about it, go to the St. Jude's website and make a donation if you can. I'll bring it up again later during the show. You don't have to be at the auction, but if you do it through that special group that Miss Ida set up with St. Jude, your name or your channel name will actually show up on there. So, you
don't always have to wait until a special event like this. Everyone can go to St. Jude's and donate anytime.
Yeah, you could set it up that be a recurring, thing, donate X amount, every month, every paycheck, or, you can set up donations to them, however you see fit, however you want to do it. And then they'll, at the, end of the year, the next tax year, they'll send you the letter. Thank you for your donations, that much. And here's their tax IDs. They can do all your forms and all that jazz.
The question I have, which I'm not sure, that's why I'm going to ask the question, is the fundraiser for a specific hospital, or is it for the foundation in general, or do we know?
It's for St. Jude's.
Is St. Jude's like just a one specific hospital, or is it like I thought it was like an organization across, like, I don't know about nationally, but at least
all money will go right here on the group site. All money will go directly to St. Jude. So it's the national, I assume that means the National Hospital Association or whatever.
So I always thought St. Jude's was a or at least a regional thing. Someone mentioned a hospital in Nashville, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not
Well,
sure where the hospital's at, but I know that if your child needs treatment, no, I think they primarily do cancer, children with cancer.
Right.
There's no cost, absolutely zero
Exactly.
cost to the families.
Exactly.
So they don't have to worry about anything. In fact, I don't know. I don't know enough about it, so I'm not going to speak to it. But as far as travel and all that, but I know that the healthcare itself, nothing.
Right. Exactly. And I think that's sort of what Tiny has going with his daughter in Cincinnati. I don't know if that's a St. Jude's or not though, but I know Tiny goes to Cincinnati on a regular basis for his daughter, and I believe everything there is covered. I thought, but I may be
Yes,
mistaken there.
I believe that you're correct. But as far as the healthcare portion of it, and
Right.
I think the housing for the parents,
Yeah.
and like one meal a day, but you still have incidentals, just like
Right.
anything else.
Right.
And I have
So
just
it definitely helps. That's for sure.
I just posted the link
Oh,
to
thank you, Mr. X.
to the St. Jude site. So
Thank you.
Hey,
and
Gypsy, good to see you.
that goes through the coin community thing, so that they'll know where the money's coming from, so they
They're
can
at 22,923. So
I wonder how far along.
they'll hit
She's
that
got
20.
like another another couple of hours, right? I think
Oh
she was
boy.
going till 11.
Oh, is she? Wow.
Well, I thought it was till 11, but obviously she's going to go until they get through all the lots. I just don't know how much more she's got left to auction
Yeah.
out.
Well, this morning when I mentioned before, this morning when I was like, oh, do I should do the show or not? And it's like, well, I want to start the show back up and keep going. So I was hoping, and I looked at what she had, on the spreadsheet, this morning. I was like, well, yeah, it looks like they'll probably be done before tonight. So I was like, well, I'm going to shift it half hour and, maybe that'll help or whatever. So I don't mean to step on her toes or anyone else's, it's just, just a timing thing.
I thought about doing an early bingo show this morning, firing up the stream at about noon and go until 2 o'clock, Eastern time, which would have been 1 p.m. Central time, and then forward my stream over to everyone over there on her show. But
yeah,
I overslept. glad I didn't plan it out. I was up till about 6:30 this morning, and then I slept.
Why are you up so late, bro?
I tell you what, and doing what I do for the community and doing what I do for the studio down there, I cannot count the hours I have spent down there in the studio, just doing stuff for the last 2.5 years, a little bit of this, a little bit, and I end up doing, it's almost like a full-time job. I end up spending 14, 16 hours down there sometimes on my days off doing stuff.
Well,
it's my volunteer work, I guess, because I don't get paid for it.
Well, you're over the 1K mark, so if you want to,
it's fun.
Well, you have. I'm a member.
It's fun because there's a lot of hours involved in it, and a lot of trial and error by a lot of trial and errors, a lot of oops, and a lot of oh man, I can't believe I just did that scenarios. But it's always, even though I can sit here and like, man, I can't believe I just did that. It's also fun too. I can sit here and laugh about my mistakes, and it's like, oh man, what did I do that for?
Hey, Aunt Laura. Thanks for stopping in.
Thanks for stopping in. Good evening.
Hey, Aunt Laura. Bingo, she said. That's right.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, let's highlight that real quick. Bingo!
So yeah, I almost went live for a couple hours this morning, just and then get everyone gathered on my channel, then send everyone over to Ida's. But I'd like to say I overslept, so that's all right.
That's okay. But this coming Saturday, you owe me a round of bingo dedicated to 314.
How am I going to do that? What do you want me to do with pi?
No, you set up a game of pi. You know,
Oh,
only
you want
the
me to do you want me to do a three pick or a three
yeah,
pick?
three pick. Yeah, a
Okay,
three
okay, I
pick.
gotcha.
Yeah, position 3, position 1, position 3,
Yeah,
position 1, position 4.
Yeah, I guess I can do that just for you. But are you going to be there? That's the question.
I will be there. Yeah, well,
All right.
I said I was going to be there Saturday, and I completely forgot about the Miss Ida fundraiser.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's why
I had,
Hoosier's not on.
I had a
So,
few people hit me up offline and say, "Hey, where you at?" It's like I postponed to make way for the charity auction.
yeah,
So, yeah.
and just add on to that, our community, a lot of folks just said, nope, no show, no, if we're on during the times this weekend, nope, we're gonna postpone because we want everyone to go over and help Miss Ida and raise money for
It's
the
all
St.
about the
Jude.
kids. It's all
Yeah.
about the kids.
So I think it's great. So yeah, I will be there Saturday, and I want to make sure I at least play 314 slot.
So you need
bingo.
to remind me next Saturday to do a 314, a bingo 314.
Yeah, 314. Because for those that if you see my community posts, I celebrated 2 big things last week: National Pie Day.
And you're the only one that did such thing.
I'm sorry.
You're the only one that did that too. I didn't see anyone else celebrate pie except you.
I love pie.
You're
Whether
the
it's
only one.
blueberry
I
or
think
3.14159265.
I went through and looked at the channels and I didn't see anyone else celebrate pie but you. I thought to myself, why am I not surprised?
And then 2 days later, and I was a day late because I forgot to post it on their birthday so that was March 14th, 3.14. And on March 16th, 2 days later, is the birthday to the United States Army Corps of Engineers. So I had to put a little thing out for those. Although the thing is it's mostly like civil engineering kind of related stuff. They're the ones that help design and build the Hoover Dam and all these big giant public works, major highways and thoroughfares. They're not known to have like computer engineers and electrical engineers per se. Maybe power stations or communication stuff like that, but the impact of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is very predominant. Our federal government relies on them to build the dams and coffers that are in Louisiana and around New Orleans. The bridges that couldn't be built to go to a small island somewhere. The Corps of Engineers, step in, and of course they have their combat role where they actually support our war fighters, whether it's go out and build an airfield or, set up barricades and defensive structures, wherever our war fighters go. So, they have their civil service side, helping everyday Americans. And then they have their, combat side, which was originally what they were formed.
Were they drafted for the war effort, or were they not drafted? Were they did they come to fruition because of the war effort, or did they come to fruition in order to help out the Great Depression era rebuilding the
no, George Washington George Washington actually
also the Corps was actually Washington era.
Yeah, it was founded during the Revolutionary War.
Okay, I thought that was something that came out of Eisenhower times.
Nope, Corps of Engineers was started under General Washington.
Yeah, they did the same thing. They were active in the Civil War, making pontoon bridges and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
setting up communications.
Oh yeah, World War II.
I was mistaken that with the TWA or TVA. Sorry.
Yeah, that was
the TVA was founded back in the early 1900s, right?
That was during the New Deal with
Franklin. That sounds right.
Delano
I'm sure. But I'm sure the TVA and the Corps of Engineers, I'm sure they've all collaborated on stuff.
Oh, I'm sure.
So yeah, last week was Geek Week for me. That was not Star Wars related. So
Gypsy
yeah,
Wolves
everyone
want
had to
cake.
enjoy their.
May the 4th is coming up really soon. I know.
I like cake.
Is May the 4th on a Saturday? I hope not.
No, it's Thursday.
Okay.
So something is in the works, folks, about May the 4th. So
Stay
if you
tuned.
haven't already subscribed to my channel so you can get notification, but I have something in the works with another member in our community. We're going to collaborate and do something. And I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint. It's not gunny.
Nor is it Gen X.
Wait, what's your salute? There you go. And get your thumb out there. Come on. If you're gonna do it right. Anyway, so let's we got Hoosier here. If I don't know if you were hearing or listening what Mr. X and I were kind of going over, but what the impact of what happened this past week or two related to these bank failures, if using that term loosely.
Yeah.
How does that, in your opinion, first off, we're not financial advisors or anything. This is information, entertainment purposes, et cetera. Make sure you do your own due diligence and go find proper legal, individuals to get proper information from. This is just for expressing our own personal opinions. Do your due diligence. Okay, enough said. How does this affect you as a stacker? Who's your stacker? Does it impact you? Are you changing your strategy in the way you're stacking? Are you buying more, buying less? Are you kind of on hold? Or
let me break out my crystal ball. One moment, please. Now, as a stacker, you are looking for the weight at the best price. And you're always looking to drive down your dollar average or dollar cost average. So as a stacker, you're looking for those factors. So in order to do that and do it successfully, you always want to stack slowly, consistently, but always within your budget. So yeah, gold went up from what, $90 in the last 3 days, something like that, 4 days. And so, but if I go out and buy a piece of gold, I may end up buying a smaller piece of gold, but I'm still going to buy something within my budget. You always want to stay consistent because you're always going to see the ups and downs like this. And yeah, we're seeing this right now, but we're seeing, and if you look at it from a very small, very tight, very highly focused microscope, yeah, this looks bad. But if you pull back to the last 200 years, is it really that bad? And you're always going to see these types of ups and downs, and that's just how the markets are. So for me as a stacker, yeah, it's interesting to watch those numbers, but I don't live and die off those numbers. As long as you're stacking consistently and always staying within your budget, that's the best way to do it in any time, good or bad.
What, Mr. X, you're sitting down, right?
Yeah.
What was the magic word Who's Your Stacker said? Starts with a B?
Budget.
That's right. If you stick within your budget, you are avoiding FOMO, fear of missing out. You're not kicking yourself in the butt because you missed out on an opportunity on a dip to buy because you're already buying consistently and steadily. So if you miss out on the dip, it doesn't quote hurt as bad as if you were doing it on a whim. You set up that budget, you keep it consistent, you buy within your budget. Done. It's not anything too complex. You don't have to watch when pick on Gen X here. You're not having to look at the numbers day in day out and analyze. You just do it consistently.
Now, when it comes to the precious metals, I mean, I look at the percentage, and I mean, it's been going up 2% roughly for each of them. per day. So, I mean, there's been quite a run, at least on the gold portion. Silver is popped up a little bit, but the problem with both of them, more so on silver, in my opinion, is the dang premiums. You know,
Yeah, I'm really kicking my butt because I just turned around and sold 20 grams of gold to my LCS 2 weeks ago. And if I would have waited 2 weeks, if I would have waited till tomorrow to sell, I could have got a few more bucks out. Oh well.
Yeah, that's where you realize a profit or a loss, depending on what you paid for those 2 grams. If you got more than that, or at least broke even,
yeah,
it's a wash, right?
Yeah, well, see, I do keep a running spreadsheet, you know, of when I acquire and when I sell, and you know, I do look for any losses, and fortunately what I did when I bought the first piece of gold back in November, I bought it at spot, which offset the cost of the other one, which wasn't. So I think by the time I actually went to the LCS 2 weeks ago and sold those 2 10-grammers, I had a loss of like $18. No big deal.
Yeah, and so it's basically a wash.
Yeah.
In the big scheme of things, and yeah, if you would have waited and done it last week or Friday or whatever, then you probably would have made up that $18. It would have been an even.
Oh yeah, I would have came ahead if I would have waited 2 weeks, but you know, you have to stop and think about at what cost, because I needed the cash then and now for bills. So obviously you don't want to play that game. You don't want to, or do something silly like take out a payday loan or a high interest loan or any loan, like, for that matter. You know, that's why you have precious metals, so you can protect yourself in case you need it. Now, ideally, you want to be your own bank, keep cash in your own cash reserve, and you know, in a safe somewhere in your house, wherever, to buffer between life and your precious metals. But when you don't have the cash, you know, you have the precious metal. You know, it stinks I had to do it, but it was better to do that than to do something silly like taking out a payday loan or a high interest loan or something like that.
And I don't know about others' opinion, but there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's no problem with selling. I mean, obviously, ideally you don't want to sell until it's at a time where you want to, as opposed to where you need to. But the fact is that you had it and you needed it.
Exactly.
So
and that's what the LCS told me. Yeah, that's what the LCS told me the very first time I had to go in and sell gold. It's like, man, I hate doing this. And they're like, yeah, but if you wouldn't had it, what would you have done? So they made that very strong point to me, and I hold to that to this day. So
yeah, but there's just so many people that say they're never going to sell. They're never going to sell. Well, that's great if you know you just want to create generational type stuff that you want to pass down to your kids. In the meantime, you're eating ramen noodles and macaroni and cheese, you know, and you're sitting on a boatload of gold and silver. That doesn't, to me, that doesn't make any sense. But that's
it's only worth this until you sell it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you bought it at, you bought silver at $5 an ounce. I'm just making that up. Hey, good for you. And now it's up to 20. Let's say probably maybe up to 25 soon an ounce. Oh look, this whole big stack is worth 25 an ounce. Yay, I'm rich. No, you're not. That metal's still sitting over there until you sell it for $25 an ounce. So you haven't made any money yet. So don't fool yourself. But as you said, Hoosier, I think it's a good analogy calling it, being your own bank, because you have your fiat that's converted into precious metals, and it's there kind of hot standby. So if you had to use it, it's there. You can liquidate it and then take care of whatever you need to do without, like you said, going out and doing something really extreme that you really shouldn't. Rank up your credit cards or those, payday loan shark. I hate those places.
Yep.
I hate those places because they feed
fear.
And
I used to do that, and I used to do that many years ago. I'm glad I never have to now. But yeah, I remember when I had to do that back in those days. And that was long before I got into stacking, anything for that matter.
Yeah, so
But
I like that term. Be your own bank. I don't know who started it. It's probably been around a lot longer than I've been on YouTube, but I like that term personally. I like it
I think
because
I think Yankee stacking was the first time I heard it coined was from the Yankee stacking. It was either him or Salivate Mill, one of the two.
Yeah. So what was the next item on your topic list there, Don? Depending on how long you want this to go. We've been on an hour, so.
Oh no, that was it. Actually, Hoosier coming in, that was the other thing I wanted to bring up because of cause and effect.
Okay.
This is what happened this past week or two, and what's the effect on us when it comes to our precious metal buying strategy, or what are we doing? And I think Hoosier hit it right out of the park. I think
Yep.
stick to your, if you don't already have a budget, goodness gracious, you should be using a budget right now. I mean, you should have been using it yesterday, day before, whatever. But have a budget, and I'm talking about taking care of your regular bills and all the things you need to take care of.
I know somebody that put up a video to show you how to do it for free if you've got it.
Oh, I wonder who did such a thing. But as Hoosier said, have a budget, have a plan with that budget you're going to use to buy your precious metals and stick to it. Yeah, you may not hit it. You may not, hit the right time to buy when it's a dip. But you know what? When's the next dip? It could be tomorrow, could be the end of the week, could be next week. It's going to happen again. We're always going to have dips. We're always going to have, it's going to be, a sinusoidal wave for those who don't know. It's going to have its ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. But you kind of overall, for the long term, you hope that sinusoidal also has an offset going slowly rising up over time.
Yeah, what you don't want to see is a huge spikes.
No.
Well, and I have always said that for, I guess a couple of years now since I really started looking at precious metals genetics is if, everyone's always talking about precious metals shooting to the moon, $50 an ounce for silver, $5,000 an ounce for gold. If we ever got to that point that quick, I would be extremely worried about the global economy more than so than my precious metals.
Yeah, there's more stuff major going on than
exactly. So
you got the world's a far worse place if
yeah,
exactly. That gold and silver is not going to save your afterburner. You got bigger problems at that point.
That's why you always want to be, and I've mentioned this before. The last 2 or 3 months, I learned that there's more to stacking than precious metals, and you got to be doing it now, not later. So when you see a run of the bank, for example, you're not having to do that because you already have your assets, in cash or in precious metals in your possession. You're not having to do that run on the bank and shutting banks down because everyone's going to the bank taking all their money out. So, you always want to be prepared and, stacking for preparedness. That's what it's all about.
Well said. Well said, Hoosier. Appreciate it. So that is an hour. And I appreciate everyone being here. Thank you, Hoosier, for joining us. Thank you, Mr. Gen X. Appreciate you being here. I think it's good discussion. I enjoyed it. I hope everyone in the chat enjoyed it as well. And just one more time, if I may, I'm going to bring up this is the IDA's Best of the Best Coin Community St. Jude page. This is officially linked with St. Jude. Anybody can go in there with their organization and set this up. So if you haven't already, the site is up and available. I believe she has the link on her channel in the on the spreadsheet. And actually, I think I could put this in the chat real quick. Copy. And if you are up for it, please do what you can, but do what you can when you can, if you can, kind of thing. I just wanted to bring attention to this because, you know, it's great to see our entire coin and stacking community kind of rally around this. And, you know, and it's for the kids, you know. Yeah, that sounds, you know, maybe sound a little corny or, you know, or whatever, but look at what St. Jude does. Just like you know, Gen X was saying, you know, you got a sick kid, you go there and they take care of the kid. You know, don't worry about the bills. You know, let's get your kid, you know, back up and running.
Back
You
up and
know,
running.
get them back up and running. You know, and don't worry about that stuff because, you know, it's all about the kids. And I believe Gen X, please correct me. St. Jude is the patron saint of children in the Roman Catholic tradition.
I
And
believe you're correct.
yeah, so that I think, you know, I don't know the history of where the name St. Jude came from for the hospital, but you know, that's my understanding. St. Jude is the patron saint of children. So I think
Well,
that's
actually, technically, St. Jude is the patron saint of hope and impossible causes.
There you go. Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's good to know.
So I put the link in here, and like, you don't have to go to the auction or buy anything. Just you could go here, put in your information, and if you have a channel, you know, actually they want you to put your channel name in here if you are like a content creator, for example. So, you know, it kind of gives you, you know, some recognition, stuff like that. So yeah, it makes you feel, you know, kind of give you a little extra feel good, kind of warm fuzzy there. But again, you know, it's all about, you know, kids. You know, that's what it's all about. So. Well, I think enough said.
Yep. So I'm going to be the first one to bounce and just say thanks, Don, for having me on the panel. Hoosier, good talking to you as always. And the chat, thank you for coming in and listening to us babble for a little bit and give at least my opinion on current situations that Don had outlined. So it was a good hour. Thank you very much. And until next time, everybody, 73.
Hey, Hoosier.
It's good to hear 73s that time.
It's been a while.
Yeah. And to go along with what Gen X just said, we may not be financial advisors by any stretch of the nation, or even financial coaches out here in the community, but we are stewards to the current people into this community as well as future generations of this community. So always keep a professional, well, I don't want to say in judgment, for lack of a better word, non-judgmental attitude about what we do out here in the community. You know, give when you can, and just remember everything that we do inside and outside of precious metals is for our future generations, be it, you know, stacking silver and gold for, you know, for your kids or grandkids, stacking things to have a self-sufficient life for not only you but also for your kids and grandkids should they need it in the future. Because I'm pretty sure as we go into what I call the abyss for the next, you know, generation or two, I think our future generations are going to need this support more now, or more than we do here now. So always keep that in your thoughts. And people who have donated to St. Jude's, thank you, and be proud for your contributions. And with that, Department Numismatic, as I always say, just keep stacking.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Who's your stacker? That's well said. Well said, brother. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate you coming on the panel. I think that was awesome. Your timing was perfect because I was going to segue into that. Okay, now what happened last week? How does that affect us stacking? And wham, you appeared. I was just like, yes, perfect person to ask the question of. And I am total agreement with everything you said. You just hit it right out of the park. And by the way, for someone who actually works in the Rocket City, I do want to make a correction. Yes, gold and silver did shoot the moon. It just happened to be on Artemis 1. And gold and silver will shoot the moon again on Artemis 2 and Artemis 3. In fact, gold and silver, platinum and palladium will land on the moon on, if everything goes well, on Artemis 3. So to all those people, saying shoot the moon, it's already done. You missed it, folks. So that's my little engineering spin on that nonsense. Thanks everyone for being here tonight. Thanks for supporting Ida's fundraiser for St. Jude. Thank you to Mr. Gen X. Thank you to Hoosier Stacker for being on panel. And we will do this again next Sunday. And I will just remind you to be sure to study the first law of thermodynamics.